Welcome. My name is Alexa Dodera with the Canadian Science Policy Centre. Joining me today is Dr. Rebecca Hallett of the University of Guelph. Rebecca, before we get started, I just want to thank you for being an active member of the Canadian Science Policy Centre community and the University of Guelph for their support.
Thanks, Alexa. It's my pleasure to be here today.
Great. So let's get started. My first question is, as you know, the University of Guelph is known as Canada's food university. So what I'm wondering is, how can the university's expertise shape a national agri-food research strategy?
I think the University of Guelph is really uniquely positioned to help lead and shape a national agri-food research strategy. We have deep roots, over 150 years of research and activity in the agricultural and agri-food sector. And so we can leverage that deep expertise as well as our partnerships within the province, with government and with industry partners to generate real solutions for the sector. We have a unique capacity at the University of Guelph to bring together cross-disciplinary expertise and to leverage that beyond, sort of traditional, what people might think of as traditional agricultural sciences, to bring in more cutting-edge technologies and cross-disciplinary collaborations to really make a difference. And so we have a long history of successful partnerships and activity in the area that we can bring to bear to the endeavor of creating a national agri-food strategy for Canada's benefit.
Great. And how have these partnerships impacted the work you do at the university?
Well, partnerships are critical at all levels of my work. As a researcher myself, the partnerships that I have created with industry, with producer organizations, OMAFA staff, so staff from the Ontario Ministry of Agriculture, Food and Agribusiness, have been absolutely critical to the success of my research and its applicability to the sector. As the interim Associate Vice President of Research for the Agri-Food Partnership, I am charged with the responsibility for overseeing the OMAFA University of Guelph Agreement, which manifests itself in what we call the Ontario Agri-Food Innovation Alliance. The Agri-Food Innovation Alliance is a unique government-university partnership that helps to bring resources together and capacity in order to address challenges in the agri-food sector. We also, and we do that through research and innovation, workforce training, essential laboratory services, and then knowledge mobilization to the sector as well. And we have tremendous partnerships also across the agriculture and agri-food sector. In fact, last year, 335 partners were engaged in research activities with University of Guelph faculty. And so partnerships really are critical to everything that we do. And it helps us really to ensure that we're having real world impact and helping to improve life.
Yeah, and so where do you see new opportunities for the University of Guelph to partner with government, industry, and producers to address gaps in Canada's agri-food research ecosystem?
I think there are a tremendous number of opportunities ahead of us. I mean, there's, already in the little time I've spent here this morning, there's lots of interest throughout Canada, but in the University of Guelph and in the Alliance as well, to more closely develop partnerships that support entrepreneurs and commercialization. So we're trying to working on putting things in place in the Agri-Food Innovation Alliance to support the development, commercialization of UFG developed technologies, but also to de-risk and validate technologies from external companies for the benefit of the agri-food sector. And we have several initiatives at the university as well in that regard. The Sustainable Food Systems for Canada, which is an entrepreneurial training program, and a recent partnership that was announced with Creative Destruction Labs Rockies to become in the agri-food stream, to become an affiliated site. In addition to looking at innovation and commercialization, I think we also have the capacity and desire to bring in partnerships with underrepresented voices and in Indigenous communities. And so agriculture is growing in the north. There are some activities to increase training there in terms of, we have a new collaborative Doctor of Veterinary Medicine that's a partnership between U of G and Lakehead. But also, I think that what I would love to help promote is to develop an Indigenous agri-food research program that could be co-created with Indigenous communities, specifically to address the needs of Indigenous agriculturalists, that incorporates Indigenous values and that helps to advance reconciliation.
Yeah, and that brings me to my next question. I'm just wondering, how can the University of Guelph increase diverse voices in ways that promote equity and inclusivity from producers to Indigenous knowledge?
So we're very committed at the University of Guelph and in the Ontario Agri-Food Innovation Alliance to make space for inclusion of additional underrepresented voices. And unfortunately, there are still groups that are underrepresented at research tables related to agriculture and agri-food. And so, I think it's a matter of making space at the table, of making sure that we're inviting in diverse voices and parties to participate, and then also to stop and ask ourselves whose voice isn't here, who haven't we heard from yet that still needs to be included. And so we have that commitment, and we're working towards improving activities in that way. Through the Agri-Food Innovation Alliance, we've supported several Indigenous research projects and initiatives to develop agricultural research and strengthen partnerships in that area. And so one is called Braiding Knowledge, which is a special initiatives project that is co-creating northern seed systems for food sustainability and security in Indigenous communities in Northern Ontario. And then recently, just a few weeks ago, we hosted, along with OMAFA and the university's Office of Indigenous Initiatives, an event called the Weaving Knowledge Research Gathering. And that was an event that included Indigenous knowledge holders, traditional knowledge holders, as well as faculty, Indigenous and non-Indigenous faculty. And it was a wonderful day of sharing research and community related to agriculture.
Yeah, so Dr. Hallett, with emerging technologies like artificial intelligence and climate change, food insecurity, how is the University of Guelph positioned to address these emerging challenges?
Well, as Canada's food university, we understand agri-food. We have a deep expertise and ability to address these sorts of issues, and we have expertise from primary production through to the consumer end of the value chain, and we have this unique ability to bring together these traditional sciences with non-traditional ones to create new solutions to address challenges. Our researchers are already experts in these areas and are already contributing to policy development around some of these challenges, and so I think we're uniquely positioned to help address some of these issues for the future.
It's really interesting, fascinating. And before I let you go, I have to ask, what is your opinion on the Canadian Science Policy Centre as a connection hub, knowledge mobilizer, and talent incubator in the science and innovation policy landscape?
Yeah, well, this is my first time as an attendee at the Canadian Science Policy Conference, and but I have colleagues who have been attending for many years, and I've watched some of the webinars and things like that are offered online. I think that it's a wonderful way of bringing together scientists, policy leaders, and members of different disciplines and demographics across the country to address issues of science and policy. And it helps to develop future leaders. And in fact, one of our faculty members, Evan Fraser, was awarded the Trailblazer Award in Science for Policy last year. And I think that the collaborations that can occur here can lead to important interactions for the future of agri-food. And so I think we have, 15 or so people from the University of Guelph here this year, and I'm happy to be one of them.
Yeah, well, we're happy to be here too. That's all the questions I had for you today. Thank you so much for your time, Dr. Hallett. We really appreciate it, and for sharing all your insightful knowledge. It was a very good discussion. My name is Alexa D'Addario for the Canadian Science Policy Centre. Take care.